This lesson is on dividing integers. And remember, the division of integers, or when we're finding the quotient of two integers, we're going to use the exact same rules that every two negatives make a positive. A couple of different things here though. This is kind of new. So 0 divided by any number is 0. So 0 divided by 3 means I have 0 items divided into 3 parts, so everybody gets nothing. However, any number divided by 0 is undefined. So if I have 3 items and I'm breaking it into 0 parts, we say that we can't do that, so it's undefined. So let's try some practice. Try these 6 questions on your own, then press play to see how you did. For the first, negative 75 divided by 3, again, I've got 2 negatives. Those 2 negatives make it positive, so I'm really just dividing to get 25. Again, if you need to do the long division, you're welcome to do that. 3 goes into 7 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Then I subtract and bring down the 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times with no remainder, so my answer is 25. My second question, negative 6 divided by 2. 1 negative doesn't match up with anything else, so my result is negative. 6 divided by 2 is 3. For my third question, I'm going to do it down here. 120 divided by negative 10, a positive divided by a negative, we will end up with a negative result. Those negatives don't match up with anything else. 120 divided by 10, kind of a cool trick when you're dividing by a 10, those zeros kind of cancel out, and so I have 12 over 1, or just 12, but remember the result is negative. For my fourth, 10 divided by 2, that one's an easy one, both positive, my result's positive 5. For my my fifth, 0 divided by negative 4, that means I have 0 items divided into basically negative 4 positions, and that is 0. Whereas my last example, negative 11 divided by 0, this is the one that is undefined because I cannot divide by 0. We're going to translate these and then simplify again. So same idea, we're looking for keywords of quotient or divided by, etc. So for the first, the quotient of negative 42 and 6, remember I could write this as negative 42 divided by 6. I could also write it as negative 42 over 6. I would ask that you don't write it like this because this can get very cumbersome when you're showing work. It can get very confusing, so don't write it that way. So negative 42 divided by 6 is negative 7, and negative divided by a positive, and that's either way that I write it. Negative 100 divided by negative 10, again, to write the expression, I write it either as a fraction or with the division sign. For this one, I end up with a negative divided by a negative, which is a positive, so my result is positive 10. Remember, you can always check your results of division by taking the divisor and multiplying it by your quotient. So negative 10 times 10 does give me negative 100, so I know I did it right. Try these two on your own, then press play to see how you did. So negative 2 divided into 12. So this one's a little bit different because this is the opposite order. So we're saying this is going to go into 12, which means it's 12 divided by negative 2 or 12 divided by negative 2. When I divide 12 by negative 2, I get negative 6. Either way I write it. For my last question, the quotient of 50 and negative 10, that's 50 divided by negative 10. This negative doesn't match up with anything else, and so 5, I would get an answer of negative 5 as my result. This is more of an application question. So we're saying between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., so over 4 hours, so from 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, the change in temperature was negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So the temperature dropped 20 degrees. Find the hourly temperature change. So we're finding basically an average temperature change. So I'm going to take my whole temperature change of negative 20 and I'm going to divide it by 4 because there are 4 hours and I want to find out the change per hour. So if I divide negative 20 by 4, I get negative 5, which basically means that the temperature change was a decrease in 5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. And again, I would typically write the entire sentence out for a word problem. Try this question on your own, then press play to see how you did. You purchased 6 shirts that were all the same price, and your total bill before tax obviously was $72. We're trying to find the cost per shirt. So if you're ever confused about which one should go on top of your fraction and which one on the bottom, this is cost per shirt is what we're trying to find. We're not trying to find shirt per cost, shirt per dollar. So when I'm writing my fraction, the total cost is going to go on the top, and the number of shirts are going to go on the bottom, and that's how we would set up the fraction. Then I would divide, and when I divide, I get an answer of 12. And so my result is $12 per shirt. Again, I would write a sentence that says the price of each shirt is $12.